Thank you very much, Dr. Shah, for talking to Moneycontrol. I want to start by asking you about what you've picked up in terms of growth and demand outlook going forward based on the 3 days that you've spent at Davos. It seems to be a mixed bag so far. There are pockets of optimism, pockets of pessimism. India, of course, is shining bright, but what's your own sense?
I'd say that there is a lot of fragmentation in the world today, which is really the theme of Davos right now.
Cooperation.
So, in various meetings with CEOs as well as in group sessions, the key themes that are emerging are one, that the world's in a precarious position right now. Recession is something that is expected, and the question is how bad is it going to be? So there is a note of cautiousness, a note of pessimism on that front as well. India does stand out brightly. And a lot of folks are asking as to why is that the case? Why is India standing out brightly? And I think we've got some good answers to that. So the Indian economy is better poised at this place. And India also will stand to gain from the China plus one or Europe plus one in terms of being the destination for the future. And that's where the optimism for India comes in.
Right. And, how do you see 2023 panning out for the Mahindra Group in terms of demand, investment, capacity expansion amidst a global slowdown and inflationary pressures?
So for us, 2021 was a year of capital allocation. 22 was pivot to growth, and our businesses actually have been growing well, very well positioned right now. 23 for us is a year of scale up, and we're looking at significant growth across our businesses, creating a stronger foundation for growth beyond 23 as well. And I do feel that it should be a good year. We're optimistic at the start of the year.
Right. You also took charge at a very critical point. We were in the second wave of COVID. The company lost market share in the auto segment and there were losses in subsidiaries. So, how do you look back at the last couple of years and the changes you've sort of effected to achieve growth and, the stated goal of, I think, 18% ROE?
So, all the credit goes to our teams. We've got some fantastic leaders, and the leaders and their teams have rallied to come out of a difficult time. Uh, Beyond the challenges we had from loss-making entities, we had to face various supply chain constraints. We had to face various other challenges that COVID and the global economy brought up, and our leaders have just done a fantastic job. So to me, all the credit goes to them, and that's the reason why we're positioned so well today.
Right. And what are your aspirations to sort of scale up your global presence? What markets will you look at and in what segments?
The way we look at it, we've succeeded in India with the vehicles we have against all the global majors. And if you look at the numbers that we've achieved in terms of bookings in the last three that we've had, 50,000 in 3 days for the Thar, 50,000 in 3 days and 3 hours for the XV700, 1 lakh in 30 minutes for the Scorpio N. We've seen amazing response from consumers. If we can do that in India with all the global majors, why can we not do that in markets around the world? So we will have a strong global strategy. At this stage, we are focused on meeting the demand in India. We are doubling our capacity. And once that's behind us, then we will look at global more aggressively.
Right. And what kind of opportunities do you see when it comes to the EV space and energy transition, both in the consumer and commercial segment? Because you recently committed investments for an EV facility, I think, in Maharashtra.
Yes, we see EVs really taking off. In the next 5 years, we would expect about a 25% penetration of EVs for our vehicles at least. And then beyond that, the inflection will depend on charging time, which will then drive infrastructure.
Right. And how do you assess the performance of the various group businesses from IT to travel to financial services? Where is there more headroom for growth?
We see headroom for growth in all our businesses today. Auto is on a great momentum, and even with that momentum, there's just significant headroom for growth there. Our tractor business continues to do very well. Farm machinery is a huge growth area for us. Mahindra Finance is on a very strong turnaround path, and a number of initiatives that have been put in place are starting to see results on that front. Tech Mahindra has done well in a number of areas. Margins is one area that we do need to address, and the team's looking at that and finding ways to address it. Beyond that, our growth gems are on track to achieve $1 billion of market cap in the next 2 to 4 years. So we've got a lot going for us at this point.
Right. I think you recently spoke about 5 unlisted growth gems in the group that will go for an IPO in the coming years. Can you tell us more about them, the timelines that we are looking at?
So we haven't set timelines right now. A lot will depend on markets at that time, the growth in these businesses. One that I will highlight is Sustain, which is a solar business. We brought in a marquee global investor in Ontario Teachers, and with them, we will grow the business fivefold in the next 5 years, and that puts the business on a very strong path for an IPO.
Right. Final question, sir. Just 2 weeks to go for the union budget. What's the one big reform that you'd like to see?
I would just say more of the same. We've had excellent budgets over the last few years. They have been growth oriented, they have been budgets for the economy, and that's what we do expect this time as well.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you.